everyone, I am Karen Burniston and I am a die designer. So I got started designing dies over a decade ago. I started out in licensed art, and then in 2017 I teamed up with my good friend Tanya Kostenick. You probably know her as the owner of Riley & Company, and we formed a new company. So on our website, KarenBurniston.com, so just my name with a .com at the end, you will be able to see all of our die designs. There are over 150 of them. I think there's 152, so it's a lot. And my specialty is pop-up cards. So we do have more dies than just pop-ups. We have lots of really cool decorator dies as well, but my specialty is pop-ups. And I like to say that with our dies, you can get from paper to pop-up in about 5 minutes. And then you get to spend all your time doing the fun stuff, which is the decorating. So the dies make it easy. People often ask, do you have a background in engineering? And the answer is yes. So I have a degree in civil engineering, and that has certainly served me well. Okay, so I am going to turn my camera down so I can show you a whole bunch of cards, and we're going to get started. Okay, I'm going to start with the newest first because we have a brand new release of dies, 10 new dies that will start shipping actually on Monday. So I'm going to start out with just the preview video for those 10 new dies. Our brand philosophy is that when you invest in our dies, you are investing in a timeless tool. We already offer so many great holiday themed pop-up dies. So what this collection does is enhance those existing dies with some new looks and embellishments. So adding to our existing decorator dies for holiday, we have the new holiday charms. So with our charm sets, you kind of get the best of both worlds because they always have a little hole that you can dangle those charms off of a pop-up or something, but then you can also just cut the hole away if you want to use them as standalone embellishments. And this is a good example of mixing in those new dies with some of our existing dies, like that penguin from our winter animals. I have had a lot of requests to bring back the holiday house, which is one of my licensed designs when I was with Elizabeth Craft Designs. Now, it is the same house, but I did kind of update and refresh it a bit. The lights are a little different, and it has a brick stencil now. And then it also includes a little die to cut 2 boards, so you can board up the windows and the doors when you want to use it as an abandoned or haunted house. You have a ton of choices of generic pop-ups that you could use the holiday house with, but it also specifically fits wonderfully on our house and fence pop-up die set. Here's a beautiful card by Kelly Booth where she shows that combination of using the house and fence pop-up as the base, but then swapping out for the holiday house on the pop-up. Now you could also explore mixing and matching the roof lines and the windows and the doors between the 2 houses. You could make some really fun villages. One of our best-selling all-purpose year-round generic dies is our Fancy Label accordion, and then we also offer the Fancy Flourish frames as an add-on to decorate that accordion. Well, in this release, we have a new set of frames, so these are the Fancy Winter frames. You can absolutely use those frames on their own. You get 2 styles in the set, the polka dot and the snowflake, and when you assemble them, they end up being about 4 3/4 inch square. But they are sized to perfectly fit that Fancy Label accordion. Just like with the Fancy Flourish frames, they have those easy alignment corners. So you just put those corners right out to the edge of the page, and then you get the perfect placement every time. Here's a cute winter greetings card by Kelly Booth using the Fancy Label accordion, 3-page, and then those fancy winter frames. And then here's another card by Kelly, and look how she's used 4 different colors of frame on the front of the card. And then inside it's a 4-pager, and by using just the polka dot instead of the snowflakes, then she's able to make that work for any season. There is one new pop-up die in this collection. It is our new Mini Pops pop-up. So this set includes 4 generic pop-up platforms that you can either combine together, as you see here in a top fold card, and then just decorate each of those different platforms, or you can use them individually. So this little note card that I kind of showed before uses just the little tiered stair-step platform inside. I wanted to make the Mini Pops platform small so that you could actually use them in slimline cards. And this one's a little bit of a different take of a slimline card because I went ahead and separated it into 4 individual cards so that I could show all 4 of those pop-ups. So you get a stair-step tiered platform, you get 2 angled platforms, and you get a spiral. And I've decorated this card using those holiday charms as well as our new slim frames. The slim frames were designed so that when you're making slimline cards, you can actually get 4 of them perfectly spaced on the front of a slimline card. But then, of course, they're just their own independent frames. You can use those individually, combine them different ways. Here is a card by Kelly Booth where she actually used them on the flip frame pop-up. Speaking of slimline cards, we have 2 new die sets that are really geared towards making those longer cards, and those are our crosshatch long rectangles and our long nature edges. On this card, Kelly Booth has used both of those new long dies on the front of the card. This is a slimline design. And then inside, she's using the angled platforms from the Mini Pop set to make some little tumbling penguins. And you can see she's got the snowflakes from the holiday charms and the slim frames as well. Now those long nature edges don't really have a season to them. They do work great for winter and holiday cards, but you can change the colors and use them year-round for any season. A category of dies for us that's pretty new but has been very popular have been our A2 size pattern plates. In this collection, we're adding 2 new styles. So we have the Holly pattern plate and we have the Snowflakes pattern plate. The Holly pattern plate actually includes a second die because you get a die that will cut all 27 berries at the same time so that you can just glue those over the top and quickly change the color. And then the Snowflakes pattern plate, that's just a single piece and it'll make an A2 size pattern. You can easily cut that down though to fit into smaller cards and even die cut it with some of the shape dies. Another very popular series of dies we offer are our pop-up ball dies and then the animal add-ons to be able to create all those stacked animals. So in this release, we have Animal Add-ons 3. What the animal add-ons sets do is they add just the pieces and parts that you need to add to the surprise ball or biddy ball to make those stacked animals. So in Animal Add-ons 3, here I've stacked the biddy and the surprise and made a moose. You can also do that just with 2 biddy balls, or if you wanted to, just with 2 surprise balls. So you can make a moose or you can make a reindeer, and when you're fashioning it as a reindeer, you might want to put those cute little Christmas lights strung between the antlers and definitely pull those out and use those for other cards. And then the third animal you can make with Animal Add-ons 3 is a penguin. So here I've actually stacked 2 of the penguins on top of each other using a combination of the biddy ball and the surprise ball. So those are the 10 new dies in our October 2020 release, but we of course have 142 other dies. So I'm going to show you some cards now using some of my favorites. Okay, so starting first with those ball dies and the other animal add-ons, we have 2 sizes of the ball. So the first one that came out was the surprise ball, that's the original, and it flattens down into a 5x5 square, okay? And it spins on a brad. I mean, that's optional. You could glue it in if you didn't want it to spin. And, you know, you can do all sorts of fun things with that. So, like, you could put photographs on it like I did here, decorated it as the Big Apple since this was our trip to New York. And then because it has a rubber band inside to be able to make it pop up, then you're probably going to want some kind of closure on it to keep your card closed. And there's different things you can do, but of course we offer a die. It's an add-on, but it's a really good add-on if you do like to use our ball dies, and that is our flap and closure. So this one here just creates the tabbed flap and a decorator piece, and then it has the spacers and the washers. And that is a 5-inch wide piece. So that works perfectly when you want to do a petal fold closure like this, or if you just want to do a single flap on any side of your card to keep it closed, you know, and then it pops up and then you've got your surprise ball in there. So you do not have to make animals with these balls. That's, I mean, they're fine to just decorate with maybe our charms or animals or some of your favorite stamps or photos. Okay, so that's the surprise ball, and it does have decorator pieces included, which includes all the trapezoids and the hexagons to decorate the sides, and then it's got stars and hearts and circles and things. And you can use those circles for eyeballs when you're making animals out of it. Okay, then that had proved so popular with people making all sorts of things out of it. I mean, people have just been very creative with the surprise ball and what they've made out of it. But thus sort of started this menagerie of animals that people were making with them. Here's a lizard that I made, stacking up 2 surprise balls, and then they, you know, pop out at you like that. Okay, so then what happened is our pop-up peeps, or our Facebook group, the Karen Burniston pop-up peeps, were asking if they could have a smaller version of the surprise ball so that when they stack two together, the head is smaller than the body. And thus came the little small one, which we call the bitty ball. And this one's about 20% smaller than the surprise ball, so it will collapse down into an A2 size card. So 4 1/4 is all you need for the smaller one. And you can see that here's an A2 size card, still using our flap enclosure, this time 2 bitty balls stacked up to be a dog. You can make just with the bitty ball set itself, because it does come with some pieces that are geared towards animal making, like ears and arms and a smile and some nose parts and stuff. So just with this base die, you can make a bear, you can make a dog, you can make a chicken. This is one I made, just chicken in, and then there you see. So these little pieces come included in that base die set. So you're already on your way to making some animals just with the bitty ball itself, but I'll do that later. Then what we did is we came out with the animal add-ons. So the first set, animal add-ons 1, that makes your pointy-eared animals. So that would be like a pig, a cat, and a fox. I try to make sure that each animal add-on set has what you need to make 3 animals. And of course you can get creative with the pieces and see what else you can make. Okay, so those 3 are animal add-ons 1. And they do make use, oh, my poor fox is one-armed now, but they do make use of some of the pieces that come in the bitty ball set, you know, for the eyes and the smile. So this is really very much an add-on set. You know, it's meant to be used with the bitty ball set or the surprise ball or both. Okay, animal add-ons 2, these are your safari animals. So this is the hippo, the elephant, and the giraffe. So let's get those out here so you can see what they look like. Here's an elephant, here's a giraffe, and here's a hippo. Okay, these happen to be stacked with the bitty ball on top and the bitty ball on the bottom, but let me show you the difference. If you use the bigger surprise ball on the bottom, then you get a pretty good height difference. So you can definitely make families that way if you have both of the ball dies. And if you have both ball dies, then you can also kind of choose whether you're doing oval eyes, because ovals come in the bitty ball set and then the circles come in the surprise ball. But if you had everything, then you can start combining the pieces from both animal add-on set and even the third one now that's coming out and make other animals. So here's a monkey that kind of makes use of the snout from animal add-ons 2, but the pigtail from animal add-ons 1. So anyway, you can get creative with that. And none of these have been put in a card yet, but you know, they fit nicely in cards. It doesn't have to have a window. I just thought this was kind of fun. Oops, I forgot. And then the elephant pops up. Because, you know, they say elephants don't forget, but for this card, it's a happy belated birthday. So lots of fun things you can do with that. I know this is airing right now on Halloween, so this is a little early for next year, but you could even have them wearing like little pumpkin costumes and stuff just by making your bottom ball out of orange so it looks like a pumpkin. So anyway, lots of fun things you can do with the surprise ball and the bitty ball, including using it just for like a billboard. So here's one gatefold card that I made with a little bead closure to keep it closed, and then when it pops up it's a little Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah, I didn't make that one spin because there was nothing to see on the other side, so I was just using it for the pop-up so that I could make something else pop up. So you can definitely do that with these dies as well. Okay, I mentioned charm dies. So what we have in charms are a lot of them for all sorts of different seasons. So you can kind of just go onto our website and put in the search bar that you're looking for charms, and then you're going to see all of your choices come up. But these are all sized to fit on our pop-ups really nicely. I haven't had a chance to finish out my display with some of our newer ones, but we also have the cruise charms, the treasure charms, fast food charms, dolled up charms, backyard charms, and then the ones that I showed you in the new release, which are the holiday charms. Okay, similarly, we have little animal dies. So you can go in and put in animals and you can see those, but those, kind of saw some of the penguins and stuff being used on some of the earlier ones, but all sorts of cute little animals to fit on all your pop-ups. And what's nice about these little animals is that, you don't have to stamp and color. You can have your paper do all of your coloring for you by just cutting out of the different colors and assembling them. We have little accessory sets that will fit on all of our animals, and those are sold separately. But if you want some hats and glasses and football helmets and graduation caps and things, you can get those separately. I haven't had a chance yet to finish out my display with some of our newer ones. So we have the safari animals and the gnome and Santa is new. We have two styles of pop-up die that are called the tag book. So there's the original tag book and then there's the circle tag book, and these both assemble the same way. It just comes down to your personal preference. The original tag book has a tag that's 3 by 6, and then the inside pop-up makes tag, square, square, tag. And then the circle tag book is a little shorter, but also a little taller. And this one pops up 4 circles. But as far as assembly, they're really the same type of assembly. So it just kind of comes down to which one you like the best. But let's look at some cards. Here's one by Kelly Booth, tag book, Happy Hour Charms. Here's one by Frances Byrne, sorry, tag book with photographs on it. That's a kind of cute idea as well. And you saw this one that uses some of our charms. Here's one that's got some of our animals and words and stuff in it. So very generic. I think that's why people really like these dies, is because there's no theme to them. It's just whatever you choose. Fran made this card with the cruise charms. Here's one by Frances using the garden charms on the circle tag book. And then I do a YouTube video every month with my design team for our challenges. And so for this one, since slimline cards are so popular, I taught how you can double the mechanism that's inside the circle tag book and make it twice as long, or well, I guess not twice as long, because you have 6 circles instead of 4, but that's kind of a fun adaptation of that die to be able to use it in a side fold slimline. Certainly wouldn't have to be dogs and donuts. One of our best sellers is our photo collage pop-up. Okay, you can do that one. This one's called the Pop and Swap, and one arm swings down while the other swings out. This one's called the Flip Frame. It just flips up a frame, can be any theme. We have a 3-tier cake that can be done as birthday or wedding or however you want it to be. There is a new purse die, and that also makes a suitcase. Super cute little die. This one's called the Rockin' Rectangle, and it rocks a little rectangle out. You can see how generic that is, and you can really have fun with that one, kind of changing it up. Here's one I did recently with the Rockin' Rectangle so that it's more of a landscape design. Because you do choose your card size with our dies. We have a rocket and some space charms. Really fun, that one. And then here is our flower pot pop-up. I think this card was, who made this? Kelly. Kelly made this card. Gorgeous. Okay, this has gone fast, so I'm going to blaze through some cards in my last minute. Twist panel, okay, pops up 4, twists up 4 rectangular panels. So that can be obviously any theme, very generic die, but our dies also play real well with others. So we have dies that are called pivot panels that can be used in a card, like this one's our house pivot panels, but all of our pivot panel dies, which I think there's 5 of them, will work with the twist panel die to be able to combine and make sort of that double pop-up. So here you see the houses with the twist panel and see how it makes kind of the double pop-up. And that's true of all of them. So we have a train pivot panels, and then if you combine that with the twist panel, then you get the pivot panels going through the twist panels. So kind of a double pop-up. So videos show all of this. I know I'm going real fast, but I want you to be able to see a lot of cards. Here is the evergreen pivot panels. Here are the hearts. And here is the gift pivot panels used with the twist panel die. Thank you so much to Stampin' Scrapbook Expo for inviting us to participate in this at-home event. We are offering free shipping on our website from now until November 7th on any orders in the US of $25 or more. So you just need to put in the code at checkout, free ship. If you are new to our brand and it feels overwhelming, all your choices, just watch some of the videos. They're on every die's product page. Watch those videos, get a sense for how the dies are assembled, and it might help you kind of narrow down your favorites.